All right.
All right, let's go live. Going live. Da-dum, da-dum.
Hey now, y'all! Can we just get real?
Here we go. That's all I want to hear on that.
That's a new one.
Oh, no, you've heard it before. That's just the intro to it. You know, I haven't added any new sounds to the soundboard except for the ones that for your stuff there. Other than that, I haven't cleaned out. I need to clean out the soundboard and bring in a whole bunch of new ones. We just got so many here.
As long as you keep the squirrel.
Oh, a squirrel's not going anywhere.
Squirrel!
We need a squirrel. We need
Squirrel!
a squirrel, and we need this one.
Glitch, glitch, glitch.
And we need this one. And we need this one.
33.
And we need this one.
Coincidence? I think not.
And we need this one. Those ones are absolutely needed. The rest of them I can clean out. I mean, those are the classics. You know, can't get rid of the classics. All right, it is snowing on the island.
Yeah, we're getting the temporary clear skies right now. We had the snow earlier.
It's sunny and snowing right now. It's doing the rain and snow thing, or rain and sunshine thing. Only snow.
Except it's snow and sunshine.
It's snow and sunshine.
Gotta love island weather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the sun shining in the window here. It's kind of partly behind a cloud now. It was all bright and everything, and I was like, oh, it looks nice. And I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, it's snowing. Why is it snowing and sunny? It's not supposed to be snowing and sunny. I like the sun, but well, it is what it is.
So the snow is doubly blinding.
Oh yeah, I hate driving in snow and sun shining. Make sure you wear your sunglasses, man, because you will get snow blindness, and it hurts.
Yeah, it does. It's one of the reasons why I like the automatically darkening glasses. It's very useful, although they don't darken fast enough.
Yeah, I used to have a pair of those.
And then, of course, when you go inside, they don't light up fast enough,
No,
lighten up fast enough, so you're still blind.
Yeah, it takes forever to see what you're doing.
Every time I come inside from a sunny day with these glasses, I have the song "I Wear My Sunglasses at Night" going through my head.
Well, those canned peppers I made, really good.
Awesome.
Just be careful.
Okay.
Because even the bell peppers in the jar have absorbed a little bit of heat. Not much, just a little bit.
This does not surprise me.
Yeah. I gotta do those again. I gotta do more of them again. That turned out better than I thought it would. I think I'll make a.
You should make some spicy pickled eggs.
Spicy pickled eggs is easy. Problem, I won't can pickled eggs because canning eggs is really risky.
Oh yeah.
Because you gotta get them to a certain heat level to pressure canning. I've researched canning pickled eggs. I mean, it can be done, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that kind of canning. You want to make spicy pickled eggs? I make them all the time because pickled eggs you can keep in your fridge I've kept them in my fridge for as much as 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
You just mix up your brine with whatever spices you want. Pour them over your boiled eggs in the jar. Stick them in the fridge, and then don't eat it. Keep yourself, if you can, keep from eating them for at least 3 to 7 days.
Yeah, that's really hard to do though. They're so tasty.
Yes, and then once you start eating them, it's like 2 dozen isn't enough. So yeah, I like I have a recipe for spicy pickled eggs. I've made them.
I remember the first time I made pickled eggs, I got some very odious looks from my family members. And then they tried it, and I can't keep pickled eggs in the house for very long at all.
Yeah, well, I imagine the kid who likes and drinks dill pickle juice was just ultimately thrilled.
Oh, yeah. Good to see you, Hemdian.
Hey, Hemdian, how you doing? He's early. All right. We're a few minutes early as we get ourselves all ready for this show. Talking about canning and pickling. I think I'm going to make a bunch of the pickled peppers and with different blends and can them up and sell them at next year's market.
Sounds good. I have a funny story about a kitten with a potato this morning.
Kitten with a potato.
Yep.
Okay, that just sounds so wrong on so many levels.
Well, the kid was eating her baked potato from last night, and she decided to give the younger kitten a little piece of it. Well, younger kitten really likes baked potato apparently, because he literally broke off half of the potato, ran away with it, and was growling at her every time she went near him to try to grab it back. He really likes baked potato.
Obviously, he likes baked potato.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you know.
I have such strange cats.
Yes, you do. Cats in general are strange to begin with.
True. What's funny is my cat has gotten pretty big, not just round big, but he's actually a big cat in general. And he's still convinced that he can fit on this little tiny area of my desk and stretch out and not get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
He gives me the funniest looks when I end up using him as my my wrist rest for working my keyboard.
Yeah, well, serve him right.
Yep.
Serve him right. Bloody kittens. Cats. All right, let's see what we got. Pets emulate their owners. Yes, they do.
They really do. I mean, I can't really expect to have a normal cat in my crazy little family.
Mm-hmm. No.
And the kitten has chosen the younger kids, so, you know, those two are especially nuts.
Yep.
Something about the youngest child of a family. They're always the nutty ones.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're the ones that, have the least amount of worry on them.
This is true.
You know, the first one's the practice child.
Yep.
The second one is like, if you have more than two anyway. The second one, third one, they're like, oh, those ones there. But the last one is the little baby, and it's the one that, gets everything. The first one is the one that gets all the grief. All right, I think we've gotten to a point where we can kick out a little music and take us to showtime.
All right.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We
What say you?
What say I?
One more time.
What say I? What do you mean?
Perfect. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road. Off we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
Shooting for the stars with WordPress plugins. It's episode 582, and we have plugins for admin Speedos, Night Stars, Dino Games, Go Maps, Traffic Jammer, Lazy DMing, and ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Brewery Overlook in beautiful southern Vancouver Island, where it's snowing and sunny all at the same time, as they have a forecast for the week for snow all up and down the island. Looks like it's been a grand old time. So I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber Overall.
And as usual, we have a really great show for you. I really don't have all that much, so...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
Now we just need a little image of that hook that they use in cartoons to pull people off the stage to play every time that jingle goes on. That'd be great. So welcome to episode 582, Reaching for the Stars of WordPress plugins. This is episode 42 for 2022. And like Dad said, the snow is coming. Winter is here. Make sure that you pull out all of those nice warm clothes if you're here on the island. I'm sure if you're on the mainland, it's already been snowing. We're a little late to the party every year. But still, prepare yourself up because it's not going to be warm for at least the next few weeks, if not for the next few months. Just a quick message from your A to Z plugin worker bees. This is a value for value show, meaning any value you find here, offer that same value back. We accept all currencies, including time and talent currency. And chocolate is always good too. Remember, don't skip the end of the show. You never know what kind of amazing, life-altering advice you might catch. Like how to fill your site full of spam as possible. Those are always good. And a special note to our newest listeners, do not be shy in asking your questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. If you have that question, somebody else has that question too. So speak up. No judgment here. Sorry, having to argue with the kitten on who the keyboard belongs to. There we go.
Belongs to the kitten. You should know that by now. Belongs to the kitten.
No, it does not belong to the kitten. He thinks it does, but it doesn't. Okay, so let's start the show off this week with our featured artist, which is Jay Saliba, I think.
Yeah.
Jay Saliba. So since we're lacking in new art, we're digging deep in the archives. We found this awesome little beauty. I love the space vibe of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have it up yet. You forgot to share your screen with me.
Oh, yeah, it's up. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when I saw this, it kind of made me think of John Ship in Farscape. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I don't know if many people out there even know what Farscape is. It's an old space show, but it's pretty awesome. And if anybody out there is feeling inspired after looking at this awesome picture, you can add your own art at WP Plugins, a2z.com/artwork.
Yeah, we could use some new art.
We could definitely use some new art. I just read what Hemdian wrote.
Nope, no more naked coding. Got to put the Speedo on. You have to go check the comments, folks, to find out where that's going.
All right, so moving on to news.
News. We have news.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
So first thing we have is our WordPress vulnerability report for November 23rd, 2022. First off, just be aware that WordPress core is dropping support for WordPress versions 3.7 to 4.0. And we have quite a few plugin vulnerabilities this week. A lot of them are pretty well known,
Wow.
like Ultimate Tables, Woo Swipe, Woo Commerce Gallery, Image Hover Effects, Donation Button, Hello Print, Buddy Badges, iFeature Slider. There are more, so be sure to check out the link in our show notes. And keep an eye, because most of these, they'll have a vulnerability, and then they'll come out with a fix by the next vulnerability report, so keep an eye on them.
It's that end of life finally. Huh, that's interesting.
Hmm?
Well, the biggest news you just dropped here, and you just went right over it. You just buried the lead. You gave the lead, but then you buried it real quick. Is that
I thought I
WordPress?
mentioned this last week, too.
That no, if you did, it went in one ear and out the other on me. Even though they should get trapped because I'm wearing headphones, it should stop and bounce around in between.
Well, last year you were dealing with something else, too, so.
Last episode. I'm pretty sure we're still in 2022, not last year.
Did I say last year?
Yes, you did.
I meant last episode.
Yeah, last episode.
Last episode may as well have been as far away as last year. That's what it feels like.
No, this is a big deal, that they're dropping it to all the way through to WordPress 4. Because that means, people have to be running WordPress 5, and 5 was when all the major changes started coming in with WordPress. It's when Gutenberg hit, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ClassicPress is based on 4.9.9. So that means that ClassicPress has got to pull their act together because they got to start developing their own security fixes now because WordPress isn't going to develop them.
I was wondering how it's going to affect ClassicPress.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But the big thing is there's still a ton of websites out there running WordPress 4. Not as many running 3, but there's a ton that are running WordPress 4.9 because of complications of moving to 5.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is gonna be big. I don't think people realize how big that is. Okay. On to your next thing.
We have WordPress launches developer blog in beta. So this is a blog just for the developers out there. It's gone into beta as of the end of last week. And the goal of this is to have developer-focused communications. This should hopefully help developers to stay on top of the new features coming into play, help developers talk to one another, and hopefully it'll get the information out there to help find and fix issues before they become too serious. Yep. What do you think? Think it'll help with all that?
One more thing people have to do, I mean, the thing is they think, oh, create another spot for everyone to communicate. No, I personally think it creates more communication issues by creating more and more places for people to communicate. I don't know. I don't know if it'll help at all.
Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
Yep.
Next up, we have Divi 5.0 aims to bring greater compatibility with Gutenberg. I personally don't like Divi very much, but that's my own personal opinion. It is a very popular commercial WordPress theme and page builder created by Elegant Themes.
Yeah.
And they have announced that in their version 5.0, they will be having a complete rewrite of Divi's core technologies.
Oh, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, the update is expected to be released in beta next year and is going to focus on performance, stability, scalability, and extendability, though is not introducing anything new. They're just changing it all, apparently.
Well, they're trying to fix the problems they have currently.
Well, one of the most notable changes is that they will be migrating away from shortcodes and moving to a JSON format that is more similar to Gutenberg stores data, thus making it more compatible.
Excellent. Well, maybe Divi will actually be usable.
Maybe.
From the few times I've been exposed to it, all I wanted to do was punt it.
Yeah, I really didn't enjoy working in it.
No, I did not enjoy working in Divi at all.
I mean, it's a great idea, the way they have it designed, but...
I like the things that it can do.
Yeah.
But the effort to get it done It's like
is mind numbing.
is mind numbing. Yes, you almost want to write the code from scratch to do it instead.
Yep. So hopefully this works out for
Yeah,
them.
I hope it does. I hope it works out for them, and maybe they can regain the market share they lost to Elementor.
And next we have BuddyPress 11.0.0 to limit JavaScript and CSS asset loading to community pages using a filter. What that means is that BuddyPress is changing the way it loads its JavaScript and CSS assets so that they will only load up on community pages rather than on every page as they currently do. This is something that has been commonly requested by BuddyPress's users, and they're now getting to it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Next, we have State of the Word 2022 will be live streamed from New York City on December 15th. So, the annual State of the Word address will be delivered in New York City this year in front of a live audience on December 15th. It's similar to last year, except last year it was only a small handful of people that were there in person. This year it'll be in front of a whole huge audience.
Yes, they're allowing people to resume their lives.
The Q&A portion of the event will be handled via email for virtual participants. So if you have a question, you can send in an email. You'll find that information through the link in our show notes.
Yeah, well, check it out. You know, I watch Matt's State of the Word from time to time. Usually I catch a lot of the snippets, and if there's enough snippets that are interesting enough, then I'll watch the whole thing. It usually lasts about 45 minutes to an hour. So, and Matt's not a bad speaker. He can be entertaining. But usually he's bringing forth all the new ideas for the next year or his future visions of WordPress, which, not always a good thing, but they happen anyway.
Always good to know what's coming down the pike.
It's always good to know what's coming down the pike. State of the Word is usually a good way to find out where WordPress is, where it was, and what their vision is for the next year.
Okay.
Or what Matt's vision is for next year, I should say.
Well, last on this part of the news is something I found interesting. Europe wants to harness the power of the sun from space.
Oh, good for them.
I thought that was really cool. And when I read the article, they actually explain how it is actually feasible. So it's pretty cool. Very interesting article. The way that they are planning on doing it is essentially using solar panels in space to absorb the energy, then beaming it down to solar panels on Earth to charge your butt.
Yeah, they should just use the energy that's already in the Earth.
Well, if you keep scrolling down, you'll see, there you go.
Yeah.
See, that's how they'll do it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And reading the article, it actually seems kind of feasible.
No, it's very feasible. Lots of money involved there. Very feasible,
Well, that is the WordPress news today. We have nothing new in ClassicPress news. They do still have notices up on their site. They say they are actively working on ClassicPress and its related projects. You can track down core development progress by visiting their GitHub repository or reading transcripts from their weekly core meetings. You can find those links in our show notes.
Oh.
And then, as always, we have our lovely extras just below our ClassicPress news. Now let's have a peek at our contest for the week.
Absolutely. As soon as I gotta rearrange this stuff.
Find the button.
It's a contest, WordPress plugins from A to Z. Whoa, stop the rain!
Firstly, we want to thank Simple Giveaways for being totally awesome and providing us with their premium version for our contests. Secondly, we want to thank Steve Goodtime and Brant Matthews for creating our amazing jingle that we still use. And we want to thank Charlie for coming to our aid and rescue yet again with our fantastic contests. Our winner for announced our winner last week, but just in case you didn't hear, Joseph, you are a winner for the Umbrella WP. Be sure to check your email for further instructions. And for this contest, we are giving away a license to WP Go Maps. This is an unlimited lifetime license giveaway valued at $199. So be sure to check this out. You can go to WP A to Z.com/giveaway to enter in for your chance to win. Remember, this is your show. We're just the worker bees here. So if you have something that you want to get in here, you have a plugin that you want to give away licenses and this prize for, feel free to send in to us. Reach out to us, talk to us. We'll get things going. And if you can get a hold of us or send in your own plugin for a giveaway at A to Z.com/plugin contest. Now, time for the good stuff.
Alrighty. It is off we go. All right. First plugin I've got for you right off the top. Well, it's time for you to quit coding, working on your WordPress site in the nude, and grab your admin Speedo. I know, it just sounded funny. You know, that thought really never occurred to me until Hemdian made his comments in the thing. I was like, you know what? She's right there. It's like,
You know, I wasn't going to say anything, but
what admin Speedo is it's a simple method to boost up your administration load page load time. Help load the admin dashboard, because there are many times where I'm working on a site, the front end loads like lightning, but for some reason the back end just loads a little slower. This plugin here, what it does once you set it up and activate it, it improves loading time for your WordPress admin dashboard. It adds recommended optimization functions for the admin, reduces the bloat of your dashboard. It helps reduce bloating of some popular plugins like WooCommerce and Elementor. And, no configuration needed. Just activate it and your site gets boosted in its speed. So really cool little plugin. Something that if you can add a couple extra seconds to what you're doing there in the back end, if you're doing a lot of work back there, every 2-3 seconds adds up to a lot of seconds during the course of a day. So go check this one out. It's called Admin Speedo, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
that sounds really useful.
Yeah. Well, anything to help make the back end load faster. I mean, the back end has always been slower than the front, and the more crap you load in there, it just slows it down.
First one I've got today is WP Go Maps, since we unfortunately weren't able to get a review from our lovely Charlie on this. So for WP Go Maps, once you activate your plugin, the first thing that shows up is a really useful walkthrough. I always find the initial walkthroughs fairly useful because I've tested out a lot of different maps and each one works differently. None of them really work the same. So having a little walkthrough is very useful, I think. You'll find the dashboard settings for WP Pro Maps on your left-hand menu, just under Maps. From there, you can check out your maps, add new maps, work your settings, and seek support. In your settings, if you have the ability to change up just about every aspect of your maps, which engine you want to use, type of interface used, size of font. In the free version, you're able to create one map and have a lot of control over this map regarding its layout and looks and interaction. In the Pro version, you can create however many maps you like, including interactive maps where your users can get directions from your maps. There is even an option where you can mix your maps up together to create one, and then there's the option to create markers that vanish until a store locator search is done, and show your visitors' location on the map for better directions. You also have the option for Street View, heat maps, custom data sources, and marker galleries. This really is the most comprehensible maps plugin I've come across to date, and I highly recommend checking it out and going and adding your name into the contest. Getting a pro version of this, totally worth it. There will be more contests coming up for WP Pro Maps in the future as well, as we have more than one license to give away. So keep listening for your chance to win if you don't manage to get in this time.
Absolutely.
I rate this at 4 dragons.
Very cool. All right. Next one I've got for you here. This is for those of you that like to get out there when the skies are clear, especially in the wintertime where you can see a whole lot more stars. Different stars. Is Stars at Night. This is a plugin here for those of you that have an interest and understand it all fully. It sets up and allows you to display your latitude, longitude, time zone, location to be calculated, all the different stars at night stuff, astronomy stuff. And you can build yourself some tables on your website to showcase what's happening, like sunrise and sunset moons, where the planet's at, what time of day it's at, when it rises, when it sets, just all kinds of cool stuff for the astronomer in you. And something I've tried to get into, but I haven't quite fully wrapped my head around it, learning all the altitudes, azimuths, satellites, and all the other bits and pieces about stars. But for those of you that are into it and want to put it on your site and share it out with others, or maybe you have an astronomy site somewhere, really cool way to go about doing it. Called Stars at Night. Really cool little plugin. Go check it out. I give it a 4 dragon rating.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, well, I think it's very useful for those that are into astronomy.
Next one I have is Traffic Jammer. This is a nifty little plugin designed to be the poor man's WAF.WordPress plugin to block IP and bots categorized as harmful. Once installed, you will find Traffic Jammer on the left-hand menu near the bottom. You can go to the dashboard and add your own IPs to block, add to the pre-generated list of bots to block, add some whitelisted IPs, and choose whether to hold the log for 3 or 7 days at a time. Using this together with other plugins like Crawler Hunter and or BSK Forums Blacklist will help keep spam and traffic down on your site. It works really well and seems to be a lightweight, useful plugin. I rate this at 5 dragons.
Very cool. You should define some of this geek speak though. Not everyone speaks geek.
Oh.
Like WAF. IP.
I can't even remember what WAF stands for.
Web Application Firewall.
Thank you. It's funny, as I'm learning more and more, I'm learning what things mean, but I can't remember what the acronyms stand for. I just know what they do.
You're slipping into the geek speak mode. You're going to become one of them people. You're going to be one of those. You're going to be one of those people.
Oh, so like you.
No, I actually, I hardly ever use the acronyms. When I do, I often define them because I can't stand acronyms because I often forget what the acronym means. And I can remember the words more better than I can remember the acronym, as stupid as that seems.
No, it doesn't seem stupid. You always like having more information.
Yeah. All right. Well,
okay, so we interrupt this Meat and Potatoes Plugin of Depravity edition to bring you our donation segment and to thank our producers. Remember, this is your show. We're just the worker bees here. Don't forget to...
I just stomped all over you. You didn't hear the donate jingle, did you?
No, I thought that you'd already played it.
No, I hadn't got to it yet, and I was trying to stomp it up, but for some reason you hear every other jingle but the donate jingle.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That was really weird.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
There you go. Now I played jingle. Start your thing all over again. Don't worry, folks. We'll fix this in post. Nobody will hear a thing. It'll be seamless.
Uh-huh. All right, so we interrupt the Meat and Potatoes of Plug and Depravity edition to bring you our donation segment and to thank our producers. Remember, this is your show. We're just the worker bees here. Don't forget to restock the show's larders with some time, treasure, or talent donations. Need more information on how to do that? Check out our site at wppluginsa2z.com. Right up there in the menu, you will see each one under donations. Special thanks goes to freelance producers. Though always showing up at unexpected times, these producers are surely part of the reason our name is getting out there. Backroom producers who are always hanging out in the lounge, always consuming the coffee and donuts, these producers earn it by helping out with our contests, artwork, site organization, notes, questions, suggestions, licenses, and by hiring us. Your time and talent donations are equal to your treasure donations of under $50, and we wouldn't be here without you. And our War Room producers, with their donations of $50 or more, these producers receive a few extra perks, an official A to Z handle of their choice, a spotlight in that week's show for a short speech, an official executive producership credit, and they get to see the magic as it happens up in the War Room before we send out the show into the netherworld of the internet. Thank you for sticking by us and helping to keep the backroom producers stocked in coffee and donuts. There is an explanation for each extra perk a War Room producer receives here in the show notes. Thank you. Now back to the meat and potatoes of Plug-in Depravity edition.
Absolutely. Sooner or later, we'll have a jingle to bring us back to this. All right. For those of you that have been missing the Dinosaur game, well, now you can stick it on your website and play it there. I tripped across this. Most people know in Chrome, there was a Dinosaur game in Chrome. I don't know if it's still there, but it was also in many other places. It's basically a cheap version of Mario, except it's a dinosaur. He runs along a screen and he jumps over things and gathers stuff. That's really all it is. But it is a time waster.
He doesn't actually gather anything. He just jumps over the cacti.
Oh, he just keeps jumping? Oh.
He just keeps jumping. Sometimes there's taller cacti, sometimes there's short cacti.
And for some reason,
I found this a while ago and put it on the sandbox.
And for some reason, people can sit there and play it for extended amounts of time.
Yes, my child taught me that, and she wouldn't turn down the sound. It's very irritating with sound.
Oh, well, that's even better. At any rate, you can find it here in this plugin. Stick it on your website and suck people into wasting time on your website playing a dinosaur game. Just think, if you put it in the right spot and they're playing it, you can have ads flash above it, programming them the whole time.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, lots of good things to do with it. At any rate, go check it out. It's the Dinosaur game, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
The last one I've got is Lazy DM Role-Playing Session Planner. So I saw this, couldn't help but check it out. This plugin is for Gutenberg, so it won't work with anything like Elementor.
Oh, that sucks.
What you get is an outline of review characters, strong start, outline potential scenes, secrets and clues, develop fantastic locations, outline important NPCs, choose relevant monsters, and select magic items and rewards. I was a little disappointed at first, since I had gotten the idea from the description that there would be an outline with ideas on which to build upon, though I think that may just be my own misunderstanding. The description does specifically say outline and nothing about further information within the outline. The plugin itself, it works fantastic. It's very easy to use and it looks really good. Once you put it in there, you fill all this information out and it shows up on your site looking quite beautiful, actually. For those who already know what they're doing and need a free plugin for their site, this will make a fantastic addition to your RPG site. For those like myself who are a little more inexperienced, who are a little less experienced as a DM, and they're looking for more information, like ideas to build on to get them started, this plugin won't quite work, but it is a great idea for writing down your various games that you do. The totally free plugin, worth checking out. Lazy DM Role-Playing Session Planner. I rate this at 4 dragons.
Oh, very cool. And DM, for those that don't play Dungeons & Dragons, that's the Dungeon Master.
Yes. I guess I am one of those people, aren't I?
The creator of the environment.
They are God.
Yeah, they're in that particular game, they are God. Yes, you don't piss off the God, because he does things to you that get right back at you if you piss off the God.
Like pick you up and put you in a corner with a dunce cap on.
Well, is that, or the monster you're suddenly attacking that has magically increased its powers for no apparent reason. Just don't piss off the DM. All right.
All right, so we don't have anything really for ClassicPress. I would love to hear from ClassicPress users. I'd love to hear about plugins you like, plugins you don't like. If you are interested, you could send in a plugin to us to either review or a previously reviewed plugin that you've done the review and send in to us. You can do any of this by going to wpplugins.com/submit plugin review. And I still have my challenge out there for someone out there who is a ClassicPress user to write up a review of your own favorite or least favorite plugin and send it in to us. And we'll get it on the show right here under our ClassicPress plugins. And we do have a ClassicPress resource section. This information is like fruitcake, doesn't wither away and will still be good years down the road, so it's great for learning. Go and check this section out in our show notes if you have an interest. There's a lot there. I just don't read it out on the show. Questions, notes, and feedback from our producers out there. Doesn't look like we have anything for this week. How to be part of your own production. Get yourself out there using us as your tool. Get an interview with us. Send in a plugin review or suggestion for a plugin review of your plugin that you built. Send in a question or comment to us. To do the review, you can go to wpplugins.com/interview. Send in a plugin review is wpplugins.com/submit plugin review. And in order to send in a question or comment, you can reach us at amber@wppro.ca or john@wppro.ca. Meetups. Nope, no meetups right now, especially now that we have snow.
Yep.
Nobody on the island knows how to drive in the snow, though many think they do.
They're all members of the Summer Tire Club.
Keep an eye out, though. We will eventually have meetups back in the notes.
Oh, yeah.
And today's plugins we covered were...
I covered up the admin Speedo for those of you that can visualize that. And I gave it a 4. Stars at Night, help your astronomy out, which I gave a 4 to. And then the Dinosaur game, great for wasting time, which I gave a 4 to.
And I covered WP Go Maps, which I rated at 4. Traffic Jammer, which I rated at 5. And Lazy DM Role-Playing Session Planner, which I rated at 4.
Which MDN had a couple questions for you.
Will it work for non-D&D games too? Yeah, probably. From the way that it's set up, what it is, it's geared towards D&D, but you can change those headings. That's one of the cool things about this plugin is these headings aren't permanent. You can change the actual headings that you're given in the plugin, and you have to fill out all the information under each heading yourself. So it can work for any game you really want to. And I don't see any other questions, but if you lived in Calgary for 6 years, yes, you know how to drive in snow.
Oh, yeah. Well, Calgary snow is completely different than Victoria snow, though.
That is true. Calgary is dry. Here is wet. It's more like...
The snow there packs down and you actually get traction on it.
Yeah.
Here, not so much. And then, of course, here the problem is the snow will melt in the day and then create a sheet of ice that snow gets on top of. And there's really nothing slicker than snow on ice.
Well, it's kind of like the Chinooks passing through, melting and then refreezing.
Yeah, well, that's always kind of entertaining when that happens to Calgary. That's a very unique thing to Calgary alone.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Ways to support the show. There's quite a few ways. You can start by hitting the like button on the YouTube channel here. You can join us on our Facebook, subscribe to our newsletter, donate, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, iTunes Store. There's all kinds of ways that you can support us, support our channel, and, well, support the show in general. After all, without you, we don't have a job anymore. You can get a hold of us if you're interested. We do have a brick and mortar location. The address is here in our show notes, or you can email us. Our emails are also here in the show notes. Time for question and answer time.
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
It's anyone out there has any questions they'd like to have asked here on the show, send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca, and we'll see if we can stump my dad. I haven't managed yet. We're getting there, though.
Mhm.
First question. How many anti-spam/anti-bot plugins are too many to use together?
I don't have an honest answer for that one because I generally only use one or two that are targeting different things. I imagine if you put too many of them together, they might run into each other and prevent the good stuff from getting through. It's hard to say. Basically, is you layer them on until your spam stops, and hopefully you haven't stopped the good stuff from getting through. If the good stuff stops, you have to start taking the layers off. That's the only way I can think of it, because the spam is horrendous on the internet nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you got to do some really crazy shit to a site to bring it down to where it's a thin little trickle. I've never been able to 100% stop it. I don't think it can be done 100% stopping aside from taking your website down from the internet. But yeah, there's so many anti-spam plugins out there now and anti-bot plugins, and some of them probably use the same methods to do it. So putting one on top of another may or may not show any improvement. Especially if they're using the same methods to stop it. And then they might just get into each other's way. So I would tend to only use plugins, anti-spam, anti-bot plugins that are targeting different things. It's like I've used a combination of 3 and 4 when targeting my gravity forms. But they're all targeting different little things in the gravity forms that aren't targeted. So I can't remember what they are. You just got to make sure of what they're targeting and how they're going about removing and stopping the spam.
Makes sense.
Other than that, all I can think of is if you get too many on them and something goes wrong, start taking them away until it gets better and leave it there.
All right. Next question. Sometimes spam in your email shows up as from your email. How does this happen where a spam sender seems to be using your own email to email you, though when you look to see the email it's from, it's their own oddball email?
Yes, it's a common thing, spoofing an email, and you can, when you send an email from your computer, you can change the outgoing line to make it appear as anything. It's really hard to change the outgoing email, but you can also change that in the settings. There's ways to do that, spoof an email address. The biggest problem is that, well, nowadays there's records and stuff for the domains to allow emails. I can't remember it all. It's gotten so convoluted over the years that I just followed through and set things up and then promptly forgot how I did it. But yeah, that's been a common problem for a decade or more now. First time it happened to me, I'm like, what the hell is this? Where's all this stuff coming from? And I took hours digging through and figuring out how it was done so I could try to prevent it from occurring. It still happens to me from time to time. It doesn't happen as often as it used to, but it still happens from time to time. The easiest way to get this done is if they manage to hack your website and use your website to send spam. But there's so many ways and methods for this to occur.
Okay.
And Hemdian, don't forget, you can also block stuff with Cloudflare, which blocks stuff without consuming more of your site's resources. Yes, Cloudflare works very well. I don't use Cloudflare because for some reason, those systems really hate me. And I get them all set up perfectly. Everything works well for a while, and then it starts going wrong, and then I'm trying to fix it, and it just goes wronger and wronger. And I rip it all out, and my site starts running perfectly again. I've had several, it's like content distribution networks, all these different things. I use them from time to time. I'll even like the caching stuff that you set up on a website. I'll get it set up on my website, everything will work well, and then it'll stop working, and then I can't get it working again. And it's just my site turns to shit, so I rip it all off, and my site runs beautiful again. So I give up on it. I don't know, the stuff just hates me. For many people, it works very well. And I have clients that I've used it on. Works very well, but it never works on my sites.
Your magic wand is broken.
Only on my websites, though. Nobody else's, just mine. It could be the other crazy shit I do on my sites, but
Probably.
But
You tend to
Cloudflare
test
is very
things out
good.
on your own
And you
website, so.
can use the free version of Cloudflare to do quite a bit. But if you're going to use Cloudflare and you want the max advantage of it, pay the monthly fee for it. You know, get the monthly fee version, the pro version of it, so that it's got the max blockage of bots and all the other traffic. Now, the one key thing that a lot of people don't talk about on it is the only really good time to jump to Cloudflare is when you're changing web host providers.
How come?
Because you get a new IP address. Okay, one of the things that people don't realize is the bots, once they learn your IP address, they completely avoid your domain. They come at you via your IP address. Even if you're on a shared IP, they can go after your site on that shared IP. And so they just avoid the domain name, because the domain name's got a little more protections on it. But if you want to block the bots, you need a new IP, and then the bots can't find you anymore. They can't find you through your IP address or anything else. You just vanish from them. And that's where Cloudflare comes in really handy, is if you're changing hosting provider. Set it all up, you make your hosting provider changes, now the bots can't find you. You just left them behind at the old house. It's like moving out of a crack house into something else. All the crack houses of people are still at the crack house, and they can't find you in your new residence.
Hemdian also mentioned he's having a problem with Cloudflare and Yoast backend.
Yeah.
He hasn't had time to debug it yet, and he's using free Cloudflare. So do you think if he updated to the monthly charged one, that might help?
It may not. I don't know. That's something I haven't had that problem. I have heard about it, and it's something with Yoast. It's something with the Yoast and Cloudflare. Like, Cloudflare is kind of interesting in how it works. It actually makes a cache of your website.
Okay.
Your site is not served from your server. With Cloudflare. With Cloudflare, Cloudflare comes in, gets your site, puts it in a cache, and they check your site on a regular basis to update their cache. And if you're making changes to your site, they don't always show up immediately in what the people see, because people are sometimes seeing the cached version. There's a whole lot of complicated things that go with Cloudflare. And I haven't done a Cloudflare site in quite some time now. None of my current clients are using Cloudflare. But it is very popular, and it does work very well. It's just the setup has to be very finicky. And then sometimes when Cloudflare changes something, it breaks the whole system, and you got to go through it again. It's another one of those things that they make an update and they break little things,
Yeah.
They fix one bug, take it and pass it around. 99 bugs on a wall. They fix one, 5 more pop up.
Yeah.
So Cloudflare is really good though.
Too aggressive compiling block list? I've never heard of being too aggressive with that.
Well, I could see it with Yoast. Yoast is really a big thing. I'm surprised Yoast didn't open up his own Cloudflare type thing. Yoast has been pretty good over the years, off and on. I've had problems with Yoast off and on over the years. Fantastic for a couple of years and not fantastic. What put me off Yoast was when they went to their paid version, they stripped out all of the stuff that was free, and they stuffed it in their paid version. They stripped out the cool stuff that used to be in the free version. Instead of just adding on, they stripped out cool stuff from their free version and put it in their initial paid version, which pissed me off. Because
it's not cool.
Well, I hate when companies do that, because that's sort of like not living up to your initial promise. I don't mind when they change things or start charging, but I hate when they don't live up to their initial promise and go, you know what, that thing that used to be free, although we're creating really new cool stuff you might want, we're going to make you pay for that other cool stuff we gave you in the beginning, which sucked you into using our product. That's why I left them.
Fair enough.
It's my own little protest. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I've got to say about the spam from your email. It's spoofing your email address. And they usually get your email address through a dictionary attack, or they find it on your own website. And if you want to see some entertainment, once you start creating test sites, create a test email address at that test site and don't publish it anywhere. But yet, have that email checked on a regular basis, and eventually you'll start getting spam at that email address. And that it tells you how bad the spam problem is on the internet. I have several spam trap emails out there. I had a couple that I would bury into a website somewhere that only the bots would ever find it, and it was basically a honeypot. It's one of the reasons why I know about the scam emails well before many people do, is because they arrived through one of my honeypots.
I guess we'll come back with my next 2 questions after the stuff.
We'll let our girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
There we have it. All right, we have a show.
So my next question here is there a way to stop spam yourself in places like Gmail other than attempting to blacklist the IPs? I thought of this question when I was going through my own email that I have a lot of control over, and I realized there's not really much control in other emails, but I'm wondering if maybe there is, because in a lot of places they hide the controls under something.
There's multiple ways to control spam coming into your inbox. Depending on the program you're using, who you're using as your email provider, et cetera, you can block not only IP addresses, block domain names, or you can block entire top-level domains. Because you understand domains, the top-level domain is everything after the dot, unless of course it's like .gov or not what's the Australian one, .eu au.com. Okay, Australia it's .au.com, or the UK is .uk.com. The .com is the top level domain. The .ak is a subdomain, and then whatever Joe's House of Horrors is the subdomain. Whereas like you can look at wppluginsa2z.com. .com's the top level. wppluginsa2z is the subdomain. Okay, and then we can create subdomains. That's not how it's explained to everyone, but that's basically it. But you can block that top domain. Like, I used to get a lot of spam emails that came from Russian emails, and so I just blocked the RU extension. Is what I did. I just blocked the RU extension, so nothing from RU, because I don't know anyone in Russia. I don't expect to ever get an email from Russia, so I just blocked it. So I get nothing from it. It cut down on the spam, but the problem is if you expect something from those areas, you don't want to block out the entire country.
No, that would suck.
So it's like, this is the problem. There's many ways to do it, but there's always blowback for what you're doing. You know,
Okay.
you have the problem of what you're going to be blocking, and you could be blocking something of value. And that's the problem of doing it yourself, is blocking something of value. I've been at it for so long, I sometimes will block an entire country. Usually China gets blocked because I don't do any business in China. I get tired of theirs. Russia gets blocked. I don't see as much from Africa as I used to.
No, I think the prince retired.
Yeah, well, the prince retired, something retired there, but I used to see tons. I can't remember the countries in Africa. It changes, but I've noticed in the last few years, most of the email seems to come from the States with a .com domain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can tell because, you know, during this last American holiday, Thanksgiving holiday, my spam dropped down by 60%. You know, that's a significant drop. So even the spammers get the day off. Lucky spammers. They get holidays too.
Hendian said, I own my own domain and use an email catch-all. Then I register everywhere with different emails. When I get spam, by looking at who it's addressed to, I know who's leaked my address.
Yep.
If an address gets too bad, I reassign it to the spam mailbox, which I empty a few times a year.
Yeah, that's one way to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's one way to deal with it. I'm not that thorough. I kind of like that idea, but you know, problem with the catch-all for your emails, you get everything. If they do a dictionary attack on your website or on your domain, you get inundated with spam if they do a dictionary attack on you.
Dictionary attack?
Yeah, that's where they have a big, long list of names, possible emails, because there's a lot of common emails. One of the biggest ones is, you know, first name .domain, or, you know, first name @domain. That's one.
That makes sense.
You know, and so they have a big, long list of first names. They pump it into an auto spammer, and that auto spammer can pump out, you know, 1,000 emails a minute. You know, all going to a dictionary attack. I see these dictionary attacks all the time on my servers. You know, my servers tend to deal with it pretty well, but see it regularly. You know, dictionary attacks are so common. So that's the problem with a catch-all. Is because I used to use a catch-all way back, but the dictionary attacks just drove me to fucking insanity. So now what I do is I create specific emails. Everything that's not addressed to anything specific on my site goes into the black hole. I don't even send it spam. I send it directly to the black hole, which means my server looks at it as, oh, useless, and it turfs it out into the black hole, which sucks it in and it vanishes forever. They don't even get a bounce back.
I guess that would be one bonus. He said, when there's a phishing attack, I usually spot it because I get several copies. That would be a bonus.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. That's why I have all my honeypot addresses out there. Addresses that I don't use. When there's a phishing attack, I always get 2 or 3 copies of it. Sometimes more. I get lots of copies of phishing attacks. That's why I know all about them, and I see them regularly. There's been some. They were getting creative there for a little while, but their creativity seems to have fallen off again. They're no longer as creative as they used to be.
Maybe they're burnt out.
Yeah, they must be burnt out. They need a new crop of spammers, someone with new ideas, fresh ideas. And what they really need is fucking a good spell check.
That or a group of 4-year-olds, because 4-year-olds, after all, created Teletubbies. So
Yeah.
maybe they just need to get a group of 4-year-olds together and come up with ideas.
No, they come up with ideas. The biggest problem they've got is just spell checking their use of freaking languages. You know, the use of the English language. You know, even someone who writes sometimes as abhorrently as I do, you know, even I can recognize a poorly constructed sentence.
I don't know, man. The way that it's going, maybe we'll be writing in that text lingo that younger generation is using these days.
Well, so that's why the younger generation falls prey to this stuff more, is because they weren't taught proper grammar. Because there's sometimes you look at it and you go, what did they just say? It's like, I don't have examples right now, but sometimes they're just like, okay, you guys just flipped the whole freaking sentence on its end. It's like translating French to English, you know?
Yep.
It's all backwards.
I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Why do you think all of the control options are being hidden in things like Windows? What good do you think that does to remove things like the control panel and put it behind stuff?
The reason I suspect it was done is to keep people from screwing up their computers.
How else are they supposed to learn?
It's okay. You're missing the point here. You go
Yes,
back.
I am.
You go back 22 years. The majority of the computer users 22 years ago, talking
Mhm.
late 90s, early 2000s, the majority of the computer users were kind of technically savvy, logically thinking people. Tech savvy, they're logical thinkers. That was, 20 years ago. But as it moved forward and as things started catching on, the non-tech savvy, the people who, can barely pour themselves a glass of Coke without spilling it, for lack of a better example, what am I thinking of? The people who, they barely know how to fill their car with gas and make sure it's gas and not diesel.
The non-technologically advanced people.
Not even advanced, just technologically people who
Okay.
understand more than just if I push a button, it works.
So when they broke their computers, they didn't learn because they didn't understand what
They
happened.
didn't understand what they were doing.
I see.
And
Okay,
so
so they're hiding it to keep that down.
they're trying to hide it to keep that down. But the other thing they have to do is make it simple. It's like setting up if you use Windows and you use Windows Mail or Outlook. I used to be able to go in there and set up my email account on it in under 5 minutes. Just boom, 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 pump in all the information, get the, all the IP address, the mail, the password, all. I used to be able to set that all up. Well, now they force you, except I finally found the back door to deal with it. They force you to follow through their step-by-step thing. You have no other option. You must do this step-by-step thing. And if something's going crazy at the server and internet connection, it breaks and it doesn't finish. And you got to start all over again and do it again and do it again and do it again. And then if you happen to hit a server that has, decent security on it, that after so many attempts at trying, maybe you typoed your password by one space or something, or because it's typing stars and you don't always get to see it or anything, and it hits and the server goes wrong username and password or wrong username and password. After so many attempts, the server locks you off, prevents you from accessing that server. So now you've
done that a few times.
Yeah, I've done that too. But the thing is, this is what's happened. That's the reason they've hid it, is they want people to be able to follow these step-by-step boxes. But if something goes wrong, they have no clue what to do, and they freak out. And then they end up calling tech support, blah, 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 trying to solve their problem.
So that's why they're hiding them now, to try to cut down on that.
And they're hiding it so to cut down on that. So people don't go, they go into the start menu and say, oh, what's this control panel? Oh, what are all these cool things doing? They start clicking buttons. And they click buttons that does something really stupid. Because if you're experimenting, you expect it to either figure it out or break it, or you know what you're doing. But if you don't know, they're just like, oh, this should do something really interesting, and then they break their site. But yeah, I think it's because they had to accommodate the stupid is what they had to do. To get computer usage to the level it is nowadays, they had to accommodate the stupid.
Hemdian said, I know someone who doesn't understand a web browser is even though they use it daily. So they refer to the initial page when they open the browser as the desktop.
Yes. I know.
Okay.
I know people that don't understand anything but Google, even though they're using Firefox or Windows Explorer as their browser. And so, I need to open up Google. Huh? Because they don't understand that browser is Google Chrome or Chrome browser. No, all they understand is I go to Google. Google does everything. It's like they have no clue what they're actually doing for anything.
He said, I know another who, because address bars now double as search bars, talk about searching for sites by typing in the URL.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess in a way it is searching for the site, sort of.
It is. Yeah. See, and this is what the dumbing down of everything is done and delivered to us. For those of us that are intelligent enough to figure it all out and work with it and they've made our job harder while making it easier for the lower IQ, lack of a better term.
It'd be great if they just had like 2 versions
Mhm.
available.
Yeah. Well, that's why there's
One
two.
developer version,
that's why-
one everybody version.
That's why there's 2 versions of Firefox.
Yes, I love the 2 versions of Firefox. I like the developers so much.
Yeah, well, all of that used to be in just one version of Firefox. And then one day, my Firefox, I couldn't find my tools. And I'm like, what the hell did they do with my tools? And that was back when I used to let it do updates. But
Yes.
I quit doing that after that. That was when I quit allowing it to do updates until I was ready to deal with the consequences of their updates. But I couldn't find it. And then I had research and said, oh, they moved it all into a developer edition. Okay, download developer editions. Like, oh, everything's back the way it's supposed to be. And so now, all I use is the developer edition.
MDN said it can make phone support difficult when you have no idea what they are talking about as they describe the problems over the phone. I hadn't even considered that, but yeah, like try to explain. I'm searching for this site and it's not working.
Oh yeah,
Oh, searching for the site on my desktop, and the person on the other phone is just like, what?
Yeah. It takes me back to some of the really amusing stories of tech support back in some of the early days. And I used to belong to a board where all these, tech support people used to post their craziest customer interactions. And my favorite was the guy that's talking to a guy about on the phone, his computer is not working. And they go through this and that. And finally the tech guy goes, well, go over to the wall and check the plug on it. The guy goes, well, I can't see back there. I says, okay, well, how come you can't see back? The light's not on. So I'll turn on the light. Well, I can't turn on the light. The electricity's off.
Yes, I think about that one every once in a while too.
It's like, oh, okay. And I could just see this poor guy in tech support dropping his head and smacking his keyboard impression of his F9 key in the middle of his forehead, It's like he's like, oh, I could feel the pain because I've been in similar pain, not quite that severe, but I've been in similar pain when I owned my computer store. So it's like the level of people who don't, a number of people who don't understand is just incredible. That's not their fault. It's just they have other things they're good at. They probably might be good at something else that I have no clue about, which is fine. But it's just, this is my world.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll call this a wrap. Thanks for showing up, Hemdian. Greatly appreciate it. Fun as usual.
Always make our show so much better when you're here.
Yeah, especially when you can pop up some really great comments for us. All right. Let's have a little music. Carry us on out of here.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have
righty then. That's all we've got for you now. Thanks a lot, Hamdian. Great laughs there at the end. That's it. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Coincidence? I think not.
Adios, mofo.